look back in hindsight, everything is 2020. In hindsight, we make mistakes, we're learning from it. In hindsight, shaping your today and your tomorrow. In hindsight, it's so much clearer now.
Are you feeling overwhelmed by the constant hustle of life, seeking a way to navigate through challenges with resilience and positivity? Well, today on Hindsight the Podcast, I'm joined by Krish Sidhu, a dynamic entrepreneur and advocate for positive energy. He's here to shed some light on the power of good intentions and unwavering commitment in shaping our personal and professional trajectories. Welcome, Krish. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing great. Pleasure to be here.
Good. Where are you calling in from?
I'm in Vancouver, Canada right now, actually.
Oh, okay. How is it? How is the weather there?
It's actually a beautiful day today. A little cooler than LA, but beautiful sunny skies, and it's getting warmer every day. So,
yeah, I got an old boss of mine. He's a Canadian, and he really hated it here in California because it was always so warm. So glad that you're over there right now enjoying some of that good weather that Canada can produce. So I appreciate you coming on the show. And this is Hindsight the Podcast. So I like to ask questions more about, at least to start off, about the past, right? Your journey to where you are now. You're a very successful entrepreneur at this point, but we want to know a little bit about who you were and how you got to this point that you are now. And then we'll start talking about some of the businesses that you're killing it with. So can you tell us just a little bit about yourself?
So background is quite varied. From a business perspective, started with land development and construction, and I have about 20 years of that under my belt. Single family high-end homes, built a lot of them around the greater Vancouver area. South Surrey White Rock is actually where I grew up, so a lot of houses out there, then West Van, British Properties and things. So that was a very fun industry for me. I loved creating and building, and we did everything from the ground up. So we would buy the land, design the house, have all the builders come in, do all the stuff, and then, market and sell it. So it was a lot of fun back in the day to be part of that. And I was really hands-on with that whole project. So I was in there with the framers, in there with the finishers, in there with the roofers, digging gravel and moving things around. So really got my hands dirty, which I love doing. So that was a lot of fun. So did land development construction for quite a while, then transitioned, opened up my consulting company and did a number of different projects with some medical technologies, looking at some different apps, and then transitioned into the cannabis space. I've been in the cannabis space for, I think it's now like 12 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So, and I was one of the, I was the first person in Canada technically to get a business license from a major municipality. So we that was our first medical shop. So, and then have since transitioned to the recreational space.
Okay.
And then the most recent project, there's a few of them, but the most recent biggest project is the Evolved Co., which is a health and wellness lifestyle brand, and launching products to the market. We've got our awesome, amazing product here with our water. And we back everything with the frequency tech. My partner developed the frequency tech that took him 10 years and $12.5 million to develop. And now we apply that to all our products. So we enhance all our products, which makes them kind of cutting edge and the best in the biz. So yeah, lots of cool stuff.
I tell you what, you put the water up on the screen. Crystal gave me the link. And I was trying to have some water, so now I just got to have a glass of water, right? But Crystal gave me the link, and I know you're doing well because it was sold out when I went on Amazon. So congrats on that, right? But get some more on.
Restocking.
Yeah, I'm about to say, get some more on there, okay?
Thank you. I will do, for sure.
So how was it like growing up, though? I was listening to one of your earlier videos, and you were saying that your dad had instilled have an open heart in an open mind.
Correct.
Right. So what other like little tidbits or things like that did you take with you from a child into what you do now?
So I've been very blessed from a family perspective. Mom and dad are fantastic, still both alive, healthy, happy, and they're both very educated, very worldly. So I'm very, very blessed to have such a strong home unit as I grew up. And dad's a sports medicine doctor, and mom's a elementary school teacher. And mom did that for 30 years. Dad, even still today, I just dropped him off at one of his patients' house. He just does, a couple of patients here and there. He's mostly retired for many, many years.
Right.
But they've instilled a lot of, I think, what the base of who I am, not just genetically, but from a life outlook of a lot of confidence and a lot of discipline and hard work. And they raised me with those ethics. We'd have family nights where we'd eat our dinner all together all the time when I was growing up. And, Sundays was chores day. So we'd get around the house and we'd be vacuuming and cleaning and working all together. And it was very, very, a very, very lovely childhood.
Okay.
And I'm 50 now. I'm going to be 51 in a couple months. So, I kind of grew up back in, 70s, 80s.
Yeah.
So it was a very, I want to say wholesome and fundamental. They created a lot of fundamentals in me and a lot of great foundations in me that have transitioned into kind of life goals and life skills.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm a 70s baby as well. I got a few years on you.
Yeah.
And
great.
My birthday is actually this month. So
I'll
be 54. Absolutely.
That's great.
Thank you so much.
All right. So you can relate. That's good.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, so how has your belief in positive energy influenced your approach to both your personal and your professional endeavors? I'm not even gonna lie. I didn't see you on Instagram, but I think you're still on there. I was looking at you on YouTube, and you have a lot of positivity, a lot of confidence, just how you walk, the places you're in. Right. So how do you take that positive energy? And I'm just saying the same question over again.
Yeah. Listen, it's a really great question. And it's also a really key fundamental to having a successful and happy life. I think you have a choice to how you respond to life. You don't really have a choice on what life kind of happens to you and the worldly things that happen to you. A lot of crazy things happen in this life, but I think you always have a way and always have a choice to how you respond. I have also from just a quick background, and this will help relate. I'm also a big sports guy and martial arts guy. So for sports, I did soccer for 10 years, volleyball, basketball, rugby throughout high school. Used to teach dance back in the day, did some hip hop stuff, and used to break back in the day when it first came out. I used to love all that stuff. I got a very artistic side, and I'm a martial arts guy as well. I've been teaching and training for almost 40 years. I think we're now over 40 years. So that instills a lot of that discipline and respect and patience and confidence. And when you have all of those things and your confidence level is up, it's very easy for you to have a very positive outlook, even when things are very, very difficult, because most of life is difficult stuff that you're dealing with.
Oh, yeah.
You got to get up, you got to eat right, you got to train, you got to deal with your boss, you got to deal with your spouse, you got to deal with your kids. There's always things that are coming up in life that, if you look at it from a different perspective, are very, very difficult things to deal with. But when you walk with confidence and you have that appreciation for the difficult things in life, you win at life, and those things become joys in life as you move forward. So I think that was instilled in me from mom and dad. And they always threw me in this arts class and threw me here and there. I was very blessed to have a lot of support there, but then also my own personal journey through all the stuff I was doing, through the martial arts stuff and all the dancing stuff and all the sports stuff, that really created that confidence in me to be able to walk into a room with that really positive energy.
I'm sitting there listening to you, and there's a lot of connectors, right? So I know when I was in high school, and I didn't do anything beyond that, except for when I went in the Army. I did gymnastics, of all things. So
okay, that's great. I love that.
Yeah, I did gymnastics in high school, and then I joined the military shortly after that. So I can appreciate the having the confidence, because that's one of the things that they instill in you from basic training after they beat you down, right? They beat you down, and then they instill that confidence and that bravado a little bit, so that we are successful at, war, right? If we were to go to that. So I definitely respect that. I'm from Baltimore City. Right now I'm in California. So there were a lot of lessons that I learned, even though I left kind of early and I didn't really feel connected to Baltimore. I was able to take some of those lessons as well, just in living in the neighborhood that I lived in. You kind of got to be strong, or you can be a target, certain things like that, right? So I definitely appreciate that. And I try to instill or push some of those lessons from the military, from earlier life, into my business. And a lot of people are like, why are you so even keel? And I'm like, because I did 20 plus years in the Army, right? All of this stuff here, it's hard stuff mentally, but if you're prepared mentally to kind of tackle it, it makes it that much more easier.
I think it's all about perspective too, because when you're
absolutely,
I haven't been in the military, but I have a lot of people who have, and when I hear some of those stories, and even normal people, you go through a lot of life stuff.
Absolutely.
And then you look at yourself, but then you put it in perspective to either what you've done in your life, like what you're dealing with now compared to what you had to deal with then. It's just like, oh, okay, this is a piece of cake. And then when you're feeling bad, or you're feeling upset, or you're feeling like things aren't going your way, I always like to just take a couple minutes and sit back, take a few deep breaths, and just reflect and be like, yo, things could be so much worse. Like, you look at what's happening on the planet, you look at what, all the horrible things that are happening all over the world, and you just are blessed enough to not be involved in that right now. Yeah. And so it's a nice day. So just kind of suck it up, move your butt a little bit and go on about your day. So perspective's a big key for me, for sure. Yeah.
Hey, so can you share like a specific example of how maintaining good intentions has impacted a major decision or project in your life?
So, I mean, the good intentions part has helped me a big time, because I've been able to foster incredible relationships around the globe. Mm-hmm. And I think that I've been able to leverage those relationships into a number of projects. For example, I got a film project coming up that happened from me sponsoring an event with my water, hitting it off with the team and the family. Saw them at a couple other events. So like, Krish, what else do you do? I said, I'm in this space, that space. So like, oh my God, can you come? Met the director, met him. Now I'm part of the project and helping them move on a whole bunch of stuff. Awesome. So that just came very organically, because I had a very positive outlook, very positive energy. I was open to the opportunity. But the relationships that you create, like I could have gone to their event and just stood there and just like, okay, here, sponsor here, I'm sponsoring the one, and been like tired that day, or not feeling great, or not really into, but then you lose opportunities then. So either you want to gain in life, or you want to lose in life. You have the choice to do either. And so if you just make that little switch sometimes to be like, okay, I'm going to get out and put a little bit more effort, even if I'm tired that day. Okay, put on this face, and, smooth out the beard, and, make the effort. Those good things will come around for you. And that good energy fosters good energy, that fosters good opportunity. And you see that kind of snowballs into an incredible and beautiful life. The flip side of that is the same too. If you have a negative situation and then you dwell on the negativity and you think about the negativity, you get stuck in it, it's very, very easy to go down quickly. It's hard to go up, because you have to stay positive. It's much harder to do that. Yeah. It's very easy to go down. And a lot of people get stuck in depression and anxiety and stress and all those things. And those trigger other diseases and all. Like you get into a world of hurt that way. So I make a very conscious effort. Some days it's hard to get up. Yeah. Some days you're super tired. Some days you've had a rough day, or things completely go sideways and you're like, oh my God, okay, now what am I doing here? Those things happen for a reason too. And those are blessings in disguise that maybe you don't understand in that moment. But if you take a minute to really appreciate, okay, this is what's happening now. How do I respond? How do I make the best of this? You, again, I think, win at everyday life.
Man, that's awesome. That's awesome. Now, you said make the switch. Yeah. That was one. But how do you think individuals can cultivate and harness positive energy to achieve their goals? So what's that hack? What's that tip? Give them something, that you pull from out of you that could help someone else, right?
So from a martial arts standpoint, you have to focus on your breathing, which is huge. I taught a little class I did a while ago at a retreat. And I said, what's the average lifespan for people these days with modern medicine? And people said like, 70, 80, 90. They're giving all these answers. I said, you're all wrong. I said, it's one breath.
Oh,
The
wow.
breath comes, you have life. The breath doesn't come, you don't have life. And it's like, oh, wow. I'm like, okay, so that put it in perspective for you. So
Right.
how important your breath is. So taking those few deep breaths to recenter your system,
Mm-hmm.
move your body a little bit, which is great, or change the space. Literally, if you're in a room full of people that's making you like stressed out, or if you're in a board meeting, or if you're in a family environment, take that 30 seconds, 1 minute, 2 minutes.
Yeah.
If you can, remove yourself from that space. And if you can't, you have to mentally remove yourself from the space. Take those few deep breaths and kind of reset. And then you'll be able to reattack the situation in a much better perspective. Yeah.
I tell you what, and I'd say that, and I'm saying it slow. I remember one time when I was a little frustrated, and it was while I was in the military, and it's probably not a good time to do this. It was someone who outranked me, and the way he came at me was really disrespectful, and so I gave him that negative energy right back. Problem is, in the Army, you have the rank structure, right?
Right.
And so after I left, I was like, you know what? I'm probably going to get demoted or
Right.
get in trouble. And I didn't. But in that moment, I learned I really need to not focus on the energy. And this is from a military perspective,
Right.
but focus on the message,
Right.
right? What was the message? What was it that I needed to do, right? In that kind of, I think in that moment, that was that switch for me to try to not dwell in the negative, if that makes any sense, right?
Yeah. No, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great advice. And I think from those situations, you learn you lose if you take it
Exactly.
that way. Nobody else lose. Whatever that person is going through, they could have been having a shitty day and taking it out on you.
Absolutely.
Or they could have yelled at you that way to instill something else in you that you weren't just getting at the moment because you were in your own stuff.
Exactly.
You know, and then you're like, okay, so you're the only loser when you take things negatively and create those bad situations for yourself.
Now let's talk about business.
All right, let's get it.
You've been in various successful ventures. What key principles have guided your entrepreneurial journey?
There's 3 things I look at when I'm doing projects. I have to make lots of money, help lots of people, and have lots of fun.
Mm-hmm,
And so those are the 3 kind of basic fundamentals I look at a business. And there's multiple businesses that can do that, and revenue streams and all that kind of stuff. So, and like I said, my background is quite varied in the different things that I'm doing. Right now, I still have like some of my cannabis shops I run up here in Canada because it's a federally legal market. So I have some of the stuff up here.
Okay.
I have my Evolved Co., which is like starting in the US, but launching globally. The film projects too. There are a lot of, so there's a lot of cool different things that you can apply those fundamentals to. And I think once you have those, that they hit all the right things. And for example, if you have to partner in things, which usually you do to be very successful, you have to find the right people to partner with.
Mm-hmm.
Those have to be in alignment. And that kind of transitions into that having lots of fun dynamic, because if you're not with the right people, you're not having lots of fun.
Exactly.
And when the tough time comes, you guys are like fighting, and there's a lot of. I've lived through it, through the backstabbing, through the people trying to steal from you, people being dishonest with you. I've lived through all of it, so I've got a lot of real world experience of what that's like, and you try to navigate. Sometimes you have to work with people, but hopefully you can get to a point in your life where you get to choose who you work with and choose what projects you take. And I think those are the real keys that I look at every project with.
So you talked a little bit about the Evolved company,
yes.
Right? So that's your water. Well, that part of the water, and I know there's some other dynamics to it, but could you elaborate on the vision behind the Evolved company and Trinity Tree Cannabis and how they reflect your values?
So Trinity Tree is the easiest one. So I got in the cannabis space like 12 years ago. I've never smoked actually, which is crazy. I never smoked, never been high, but I love the industry. I'm kind of like, I don't like drugs. I don't like big pharma. I don't like any kind of other hard drugs. And so from a medical perspective, I saw a lot of great things that it was helping people with. And then from a recreational perspective, it's the only thing you can do that literally won't kill you. So go have a great time, So I look at it from an ethical standpoint and from an energetic standpoint. It really fit with who I am as a person. Then from a business perspective, it just made sense. I just got in at the right time on a few right projects, and are happy I made a few right decisions at some point. So that was a good one, and it's still continued on, and I still have some great ventures that I'm doing in that space, both on a local level and global level. The Evolve Co is the really fun one, and this is kind of like my big baby and my kind of like my big, huge global domination takeover play. And so we created a lifestyle brand called the Evolve Lifestyle Co, for short, the Evolve Co. And we back everything with a frequency technology. So like I said, my partner developed a frequency tech. 10 years, $12.5 million developing the technology, and the uses for it are unbelievable. So it kind of sounds like space magic, but we basically take a sticker that has the frequency tech embedded in it, and we put it on the side of the bottle of water. I think I can find it here. So you can kind of see, it's kind of like, I don't know if you can see the sticker underneath there, right there. And so that sticker has our tech in it, and it's energizing the water.
Oh, wow.
And it's changing the thermodynamics of the water. So that means when you drink it, it's at its most optimum solubility. And that means when you drink it, you actually absorb more of the water. And whatever's in the water, the minerals, electrolytes, all that stuff, are at their most bioavailable state. So you absorb as much of that as possible.
Wow.
So it's game changer stuff. We've got all the clinical trials, hydration studies, all that stuff. But the reason I'm doing it is because we have a very unique selling proposition for this. Nobody on the market has what we're doing. We're creating a new beverage category of true performance beverages. And honestly, that's the only reason I got in the space, because the beverage industry is crazy and it takes a ton of money and a ton of time, and it's like the competition is crazy. But when you have something so unique that like us, you're crazy not to do it, because again, there's a lot of time and effort and all the struggles that we've been through, but it's such a huge, and again, it's such a huge benefit for people, because chronic dehydration is an epidemic. Most people, like even your water you're drinking now, you're not absorbing as much as the water as you should. So you can drink your 8 glasses, 10 glasses and still technically be dehydrated. Wow. And so, and then what that does from a cellular level is that your systems are not fully hydrated. So you're under a low-lying level of stress. And then that stress, when you're not fully hydrated, triggers other illnesses and diseases too. So hydration is such a main focus for your general mental, emotional, physical health. So that's really what sets us apart, is the frequency tech. So we apply it to the water. We're going to do wearables as well. We can put it on clothing. We can enhance performance, recovery, calmness, and it's all in the different programming of the tech. When we run it through the factory and we put it and we pump it out, we can change the frequency output to whatever we want to accomplish. So, for example, I'm going to do a skincare line. I'm a founder in an incredible clay company up here in British Columbia, some of the best clay on the planet. Do a skincare line with our clay, which is already going to be the best. Enhance it with the frequency tech, anti-inflammatory frequencies, anti-anxiety frequencies. So I could talk all day about it, but it's really cool stuff.
Yeah, I see you're very passionate. That got me thinking and like, because I was going to ask you a question about it, but then you started answering it, right? But I will ask this one: how do you ensure that the products align with your mission of promoting wellness? And I know it's backed by the science, right? It's backed by the technology,
right?
But so maybe I shouldn't ask that question. How do you even think to do something like that? Let's start there.
Well, I'd like to say partner. I'm the genius who developed it, but I'm not. So my partner did. But when he showed it to me, we got introduced to a mutual friend and business partner of mine. Yeah. And when he showed it to me, my brain just started flying. I'm like, oh my God, this is great. And originally I wanted to do it in the cannabis space. I was thinking, okay, I'm in the space. I was going to do like a CBD drink or something like that. Okay. And then if I put the tech on it, it would make it more bioavailable, and then I would beat everybody else. And so that's how it started. And then I talked to my partner Antoinette down in LA, and she's super connected. Does her studio, Loop Studios, is my marketing engine behind all the stuff I'm doing. Right. And I'm like, we could do something bigger with this. Like make a whole lifestyle brand and like shelve the CBD stuff, but really do like mainstream products. She's like, yeah, dummy, of course you should do that. Like, what are you doing? Let's go big or go home. So I'm like, all right. So we kind of retooled it to what it was. So that's what really sparked the whole like global plan and all the different verticals that are each in their own billion-dollar, multi-billion-dollar verticals, and then put the drive behind it to actually accomplish everything. So create the brand and do all the creative stuff.
Right.
I love all that stuff.
So you got a frequency that you can adjust to promote different things of wellness and healthiness. So how many different lines or how many different types do you have right now in the United States?
So we only have the one product out right now, which is the main product I wanted to get out because it'll give the biggest bang for your buck and health benefit, which is our water, so get everybody hydrated. So we have that on Amazon now. I'm just onboarding with a bunch of different platforms. We're going to have our own Shopify, Walmart.com's got us coming on board, Unify, etc. Okay. And then I'm working on brick and mortar distribution as we speak as well. But that's the first and only product that we have on the market is this one. Okay. We are going to launch very soon, hopefully within Q2 to Q3 this year with the flavored waters. So same thing, but just we got a cucumber lime, a mango, a strawberry kiwi. So a little hint of flavor as well. And then I believe toward the end of the year, we'll either do some collaborations or launch our own apparel line as well.
I love it. Philanthropy.
Yes.
The Holly Rod Foundation.
That's my heart right there. Yeah.
There you go. It holds a personal significance for you. Can you share why this cause is so important to you?
So I've, throughout my teaching career, I've dealt with a lot of special needs as well. I've taught about 10,000 students in my teaching career through sports and martial arts. And so you get a wide variety of people and things. So when the Holly Rod opportunity came up, Holly and Rodney are like family for me. They're very dear friends of mine. And when they asked me to come on and be on their board, I immediately said yes. It's such an incredible foundation. Their story is incredible. Their oldest son, RJ, is on the spectrum for autism. Her brother has Parkinson's as well. And I've had friends and family members and people I've taught and all that stuff that those two things have affected quite heavily. Yeah. So for me coming on board just for being a friend, also being passionate about it, I love giving back whenever I can. I've always grown up that way to really help and give. And my nature's very giving too, which you have to be careful with because sometimes I know. but it's just my nature's that way to really serve and to give. So when this opportunity came up to be with them and the great work that they've done, last year was our 25th anniversary of the project. I've been on for now. It's coming on 5 years now for me. Nice. So it's just been a blessing to be part of that and see the change and the help and the growth and the programs that we can put together for people. So yeah, it's a very exciting venture for sure.
How do you balance your, and I hate saying this word, philanthropic, you know what I'm saying, endeavors with your professional commitments?
I don't think about it too much, to be honest with you. I just do everything, I make sure I eat and then I sleep as much as I can and just run and gun and just, so I surround myself with good things, with good people. I got my Frenchie if I need to hug him and snuggle with him for a little bit, make myself feel good or release some serotonin and, So, I just go do it. I really don't think about it too much.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And I say that I was about this every time I say something about balance, right, to individuals like yourself. It's like, there is no balance. You just do. You know what I mean? So I appreciate your answer. Sleep, eat, and do. I love it. All right.
Just do as much of all the good things as you can and just work your ass off and you're going to be great. Yeah.
All right. What advice would you give to individuals looking to make a meaningful impact in their communities?
Each person's different. I mean, you have to be passionate and love the thing that you're getting involved with. So it doesn't matter what it is. If you're feeding the homeless, for example, when I was in LA just a few weeks ago, all these guys were like on this one street just down from one of my spots I stay at. And I said, what's happening here? And then I was with my friend and we're like, let's get them some pizza at least. Because very clearly they were like, either homeless or not doing well. They were struggling. It was like that type of environment. And we just said, okay, listen, we're going to just order a bunch of pizzas. And so we didn't know what was going on, But then we saw like 30 minutes later, it's actually a food truck line that at that time of the day, they all line up and for the food truck. So we like just like energetically, because we were passionate about giving and whatever, that situation turned out just like it was like a huge. We walked down with the pizzas. And I went and saw the guys first, and they're like, "Oh my God, you're giving us all pizzas!" And the people in the food line, because they're getting like salad and like maybe some like just kind of normal, maybe not the greatest food, but but they're like, "Oh my God, pizza!" And, I took boxes of my water down for everybody, keep everybody hydrated.
Beautiful.
And so that just like what that filled me up with was so much joy. And just to see like on their faces, like, "Oh my God, thank you. This is amazing." Yeah. People left with their food, that they saw the pizza and they started running back. And so that, for example, because I was passionate about helping people and just like I felt to do that, and we felt to do that at the time, right? It turned into an incredible experience, which honestly, I'm very selfish. I gained from huge, because that good feeling sat in me for like a week or 2 weeks, be like, "Oh man, that felt really good." And the smiles I put on people's faces and the help I gave me, even if it was for that little bit, got them a little more hydrated, got some cool, they love the pizza. So I think for people in your community, there's always a lot of people that need help. There's always a lot of people struggling. You have to find what fits for you, and Google some stuff and see local charities or local events that are going on and get involved.
I love it. All right, Krish, look, I asked you a few questions. Hopefully I got in there and asked you some interesting ones, something that made you smile a little bit, right? But what is it that I haven't asked you that you'd like to talk about right now or share with the audience?
That's a good question. Making me think a little bit here. We're early in the morning on a Thursday. I think that in general, people's confidence is very, very low, or they're lacking, and a lot of things you do in life, really, to be successful, you have to have confidence. And if you can work on that, this is like my general thing I say to a lot of people all the time. Right. And my fundamentals from my martial arts background and stuff have instilled that. So like, for example, I'm 100% confident. Okay. What that means is that I'm very humble at the same time. It also means I know I don't know everything. I know I need help in many things. I know I'm not great at everything, but I'm 100% confident. And so when you have that confidence and that true confidence, not bravado or arrogance or whatever, I think it's such a key to having a successful and happy life, because you walk into every situation with the confidence and the wherewithal and the feeling of either I'm going to kill it and I'm going to be successful, and if I don't know how to do something, I'll ask somebody to do it and I won't feel weak or less than. Or if I'm going into the situation and it doesn't happen right for me, that means it's not supposed to happen. So it's a whole different perspective of how you live your life. And I think a lot of people are lacking that. People, like, for example, if they're in abusive relationships and things, one or both of those people are lacking some confidence, because it's impossible to have that dynamic if you're truly one with yourself and a complete person. So I try to instill that in a lot of people, that confidence is such a key thing for your life, and how you gain it for everybody is different too. You have to like find something that you're good at and work really hard at that, and put your time and effort in those things. Make conscious choices for yourself to do some hard things sometimes, like work out or eat properly or whatever. We all struggle with that. Even though I try to stay in great shape and I'm an athlete and all that stuff, I still, some days I'm like, oh man, that bag of chips look good. Or, I want to sleep in and just, we all have those days. So it's just a matter of really, really energetically and mindfully making the little micro choices during the day that add up to the overall health and wellness for your mental and emotional and physical state. And that'll create that confidence for you.
That's a great early morning message.
There you go.
100% confident. I love it. So where can the listeners, the viewers, find out a little bit more about you, what you're doing, and maybe even communicate with you if you so choose.
Absolutely. So all the digitals and socials are there. I think Instagram's the main one at Krish Sidhu 23.
Okay.
I'm an old school Jordan guy, so you gotta have
That's a 23.
23 on the back.
Okay.
That was my number when I played ball as well. So
Oh, really?
At Krish Sidhu 23.
Uh-huh.
KrishSidhu.com. If you go on there, it kind of shows like who I am and my journey and stuff, and a lot of the ventures that I have and am part of. So those are a couple good ones. And then from the Krish Sidhu 23 on Instagram, I have all the things on there as well. So the Evolved Co's linked on there, Perform H2O's linked on there, Holly Rod's linked on there. So a lot of that's all in the one spot.
I did look at your Instagram now that I'm thinking about it, because I do remember the water and stuff like that being on there. And I do want to point out that if you go on KrishSidhu.com, this guy has some amazing photos. I was like, I need to walk in his space so I can figure out who this photographer is and where these locations are. Great photos.
I'll line you up. My guy Jared's the best. So he's in LA, so I'll hook you up.
That's close. That's awesome.
Yeah. There you go.
All right, Krish. But thank you for sharing like your invaluable insights on the transformative power of positive energy. Like you live and you walk that walk, and the importance of aligning our actions and genuine intentions. So, to the listeners, remember to embrace good energy and intentionality in your endeavors for a fulfilling journey. And then stay tuned for more inspiring stories and practical wisdom on Hindsight the Podcast. This has been a really good conversation for me. I really learned a lot, and I've been looking forward to talking with you, Krish, since we connected and said, "Hey, let's do this." So thank you for coming on this morning and sharing your insights.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Great to talk to you.
Hey, thanks for joining me here on Hindsight the Podcast. I'm your host, Lee Jones. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I know I did. To make sure that you don't miss a single episode, why don't you just go ahead and subscribe? And also, I have a quick survey. It'll take you 1 to 3 minutes just so I can get a better understanding on how to get the best content to you. So here that is as well. Until next time, once again, thank you.